Talks.
Hi there. Welcome to our show, everybody. Welcome to Go Movie Talks.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Go Movie Talks. Today we are bringing one of my favorite movies, one of our favorite movies of
Things.
last year.
I
Poor,
mean, in forever, it's easily a favorite.
of course, but we saw it last year.
Well, yeah, it came out last year, so there's
Exactly.
much
Yeah.
choice.
Wow, wow, wow. What a great movie and what a way to put a woman into her mother's body and finally get to see what it would be to learn something.
I mean, to be fully honest, that part is just an excuse. Like how can I get a baby in a fully grown body? And it was morbid, so I'll give you that. And they
Yeah.
fully explore it because at the end, like the original body's owner, uh, that world came back and played its part. But other than that, it's mostly what it's like to you could see the stages of development in a fully grown body. That I think that's what actually got me from this movie. And this is a how is it coming into adulthood
Yeah.
movie
Of
that
course, of course.
yeah it,
But really, like really fast. You don't have to wait that much.
well but that's also the beauty of it, because you don't
Yeah,
really have to. I
yeah.
mean, you can do it with the same actor uh the entire time. You don't really have to be changing just because it's the same grown body. So for
Exactly,
for
exactly.
directing wise, I mean, directing wise, it's just fabulous. You get to explore many different stages with the same actor, and very ironically, I mean, she ate. She was fantastic. She just, yeah. So
She was just the right person to play the right character, like wow, 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 wow. I mean,
I'll be fully honest. With I love her. I've always loved her, but I do recall when she was granted the Oscar for La La Land. I'm not a fan of La La Land. Like, she actually did a marvelous job. I love it, but to me that was just the movie. It's like whatever. And when I saw
exactly.
her in this, it's like, oh, so you're going independent. Okay, I good. And
Yeah.
then I've been also a huge fan of the director of Lanthimos.
Uh-huh.
So, oh, okay, this is something. Let's see where that goes.
But have you seen Emma Stone playing characters in other
Yeah,
sort
I
of
I
independent
see.
like movies? I mean,
Yeah,
she's good. She's real good.
exactly.
I
She
mean,
is good. But that's also my problem. She was recognized for the role, I mean, before this one, for the role that I like the least from her. So that kind of
yeah,
pisses me
baby,
off.
but
Like that,
it's the
oh,
Oscars. I mean, you can
it's at
expect
least the
something
Oscars.
like
So,
that from the
yeah,
Oscars.
yeah, I'm sorry, Oscars. I'm not really a
Yeah.
support, not a fan
No,
anymore.
no, the Oscars do not
But
deserve a space in Go Movie Talks?
yeah,
It's like whatever.
yeah, no, we're better critics. I'm sorry, we are. So yeah, when I actually saw her acting, it's like, wow, okay, you really took many risks, because this was a very risky project
Yes.
for the director. Not so much. I think it's actually very much him,
Yes.
and he actually escalated in the artistic presentation.
I
It
think
was
it was
immaculate.
it was so exquisite. I mean,
Yes, it is
so full
immaculate. The
of.
music,
I mean,
the cinematography,
you could
the
have
design.
enjoyed the movie only taking one aspect of it, such as, for example, the soundtrack, the cinematography, the I don't know, the digital art, whatever, and only because of that aspect, you were captivated,
Yeah.
with.
No, and even the casting, that was a brilliant casting. I
Yes.
I pretty much I think I knew pretty much all of the actors, and I was just wow. Okay, it was a powerhouse, and if again being honest, I think the only one that had something to lose by becoming involved in that project was Emma Stone, because she is not known, or at least before she was not known to do for doing this kind of movies. So
Exactly. Yes.
when she did it, and she did it, now I cannot imagine anybody else doing that role.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, it's just insane. It is her role. She made it her own, and she really portrayed her acting skills. I remember I make a point. I'm not really much of a fan of going to the movies. I prefer watching movies at home. For this
Mhm.
movie, I said I want to go to the movies to support it, regardless. Again, I didn't know if it was good or not. And when I came out, I'm like, okay, she deserves an Oscar. She deserves all of the awards she can get just because it was that good. I don't care about anybody thinks, but I want the movie recognized. And she
Yeah,
got it.
definitely.
She deserves it.
Yes,
Mm-mm.
I cannot imagine Bella Baxter in the body of any other actress,
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that is speaks of volumes of the quality of the person interpreting the role,
Yeah.
because it was so good that you just wow, okay, who else? And it's the same with the father, Dafoe, Willem Dafoe.
No. God.
That was perfect casting, because that is exactly the actor you would imagine for that role. So
And
you
if you
already know
see
us,
them playing
and you
later
know what you're gonna get.
in this
You
other
know
movie, the name of the movie, I have it in the tip of my tongue. What
the
is
one
it?
that we already reviewed.
Huh? No, the one that comes next. Kind
Kinds
kindness.
of kindness. Kinds of
Oh,
kindness. Yeah.
you see, I mean, actually, it's, almost the whole cast interpreting one more time, but completely different characters and all that. And then you say, wow,
Mhm.
wow, this
Yeah,
is
the
like too much.
versatility. The
You know,
versatility of these casts was just amazing, and the director and everybody. Because I'm sure, I'm not really sure of the entire production team, but I'm pretty sure if I know this director well enough, I'm pretty sure he's stuck with the same production team,
yes,
and they changed everything, everything.
absolutely. Yes,
So they are professionals.
absolutely, absolutely. The only, common thing among all of these representations is that, I mean, for example, this actor, well, he's not an actor actually, he's a friend of the director. He's
Hmm.
actually an accountant or someone like that. I don't know, but I read it somewhere that the man who plays this character, he's one of the men who has a sexual intercourse with Bella in one of the scenes, and he appears in this other movie, Kinds of Kindness, three times actually. He doesn't say a word or anything. He's just the director's friend, you know.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's
and
kind
in that movie, well, but I don't. Yeah, I don't want to swap two kinds of kindness. That might be discussed in another episode. So I
of
don't want to
oh,
focus so much on that one. But yes, he's got these quirks, and again, I literally just finished watching Poor Things again. So, and my first time watching it was, I was already mesmerized by it. This second time, pretty much I think a year after having watched it, it
yeah.
made it even better, because I remember the first time I thought the last act was maybe unnecessary. I thought that at the moment. Right now, quite the opposite. I loved it. Like, yes, yes, perfect, perfect, immaculate.
No,
And
I
the
never felt. I mean, the three times I've seen that, I've never felt, something was out of nothing. I mean,
I watched it. I
everything
watched it.
matched
I watched it
perfectly.
close to midnight. So that may have been it.
All right.
again,
It's
whatever. It
yeah,
doesn't
it's
really matter.
you, not the movie, Freddie.
Exactly. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
right now that I just watched it, I acknowledge it's
yeah.
just perfect. I don't think it anything needs to be changed. And and I just fell in love. Like the first time I knew the music was pivotal, is key, but right now I just fell in love with it. I really want to listen to it just as a soundtrack outside of the movie itself. Just when driving, doing work, I want to listen to it. Just listen to it. It's wow.
Exactly. Yes, yes. No, and the very first scene, black and white, the house of these highly recognized, gracious doctor, and all the illumination and the photography there. I mean, I was like, Jesus, Jesus. I mean, this is kind of too much. It's like I felt like I was having, a whole classical music concert, but visual, you know?
Okay.
So it felt like, wow, it's too much, that kind of
Yeah.
sensations that you get when you get so stimulated by
No,
what you're looking
and how to say it? I think it. I'm not gonna say it's the first time, but I think possibly the time I've seen it executed the best. This kind of a style, which is a parallel universe. So at some point, let's say, I don't know, in the 1900s, just art evolved differently to the way it
at.
actually is in reality. So it's like science fiction, but it's not science fiction because it's actually in the past. So it's still
Exactly, not that
fiction.
much of fiction. And
Exactly. It's
I don't know if you feel the same, but this ship where Bella is taken to other countries, didn't you feel like Gaudí, like
yeah.
a reference from this? And I was like, wow, I mean, wow, the kind of references, artistical references this
And
movie has.
artistical choices because some have references, but at the same time, it was very much a choice. Because, for instance, again, and I'm gonna say it right now, my favorite era shown in the movie is Lisbon in Portugal. I just wow, it's you can see the parallels with the actual current world, but
Yes.
at the same time, it's so reimagined. It's barely. I don't know. You really need to know what to look for to recognize Lisbon in there. If you know the stereotypical things that make Lisbon Lisbon, then you will recognize it. If you have no clue what makes Lisbon Lisbon, then you will probably just think it's a it's a fictional place. So uh,
Yeah, and at the same time, it's like, I mean, if we compare, for example, and I know this movie might seem surrealistic and, kind of crazy or something like that, but if we compare this one to Holy Mothers, for example, that we were talking about it in previous chapters, he said, no,
no,
this is not part of that whimsical feeling of directors. No, totally
the
the opposite. This was
whimsicality
very controlled,
the
very cinematic.
whimsicality of this movie comes from the fact that, of course, the main character, the brain from the baby was uh, transplanted into the grown female's body. That's it.
That was her mother, actually.
Everything, yes, the mother. Everything else is pretty much very much grounded in reality because the growth of the character from baby to fully mature, it's different stages of life, and the
Yeah,
director very smartly chose to represent different growth stages in different countries or places
exactly. As
because
a trip.
exactly, so it is also a trip, and I think that allows him some room to breathe in order to showcase different things. For instance, in Lisbon, it's the indulgence. So the intercourse, the overeating, the alcohol, the the fact that the character at that point was a teenager, pretty much mentally. So that
Exactly.
is my favorite era. The the lack of filter when speaking. Well, that's throughout the entire movie, but in that era in particular, they explore the lack of manners
I
and just
remember
saying
remember
whatever you want.
at that point she was still a child, and children don't have that much of manners when
I don't think it was a child anymore. I think that was teenage. To me, that was already ringing teenage. First, the sexual appetite. To me, that was the
yeah, but
clue.
remember that human beings can have sexual appetites from very early years, actually, and it has been scientifically proved. But
Yeah,
as a
but
matter of
Laura,
fact, notice the way she develops language. I mean, for me, that was like, oh my God. I mean, for any linguist, this represents kind of, the complete knowledge of the different growing
yeah.
stages.
Mm-hmm.
So she was still literal. That level of literacy might come up to 8 to 10 years, actually. So
Okay, I'll give you that.
way,
Yeah.
yes, she was a child, maybe not a baby, maybe not a very small child,
Yeah,
but
because
she
she
continued to
wasn't
be
even a
a
teen
child.
yet. Yeah, because if you place her in the
Exactly.
10, 11, she's not even a teen yet. No, yeah, and I know,
Exactly.
and I agree with the sexual desire or
Mm-hmm.
that sexual arousal is starting from earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, and even in females, that actually starts at an even earlier age.
Now,
Um,
I know this. I mean, you think of, sh her mother's body as an excuse for this, but as a matter of a fact, I don't know. I see that as a representation of, there is a new generation that at some point learns even more and develops with, um, this certain attitude towards breaking uh, parameters, just like Megapixel is doing right now, for example. She's breaking the whole thing and she's making it proper from her. So that I guess that's a very subtle way to say, notice this could have been Bella's mother, okay, by grabbing the strings of her life and making what made her actually happy. Actually, this is a way to tell us what Bella's mother could have done instead of, trying to stop living. All right. So at some point, I consider that's a very important thing. I mean, I don't see that as a very whimsical aspects of the director. Totally the opposite. It's like, okay, there is something to learn here. And remember, the director emphasizes, the typical male behavior of the epoch versus a character that is not polluted with social influence.
yeah.
So,
Well, well, I mean, that I've noticed that in a lot of good directors, actually, they
mhm.
avoid having cell phones and social media because yes, that changes the way people interact with each other. So
Exactly.
unless you really want to explore that, you try to take it out of the equation. And what better way than to make it a movie time or placed in past eras? So that may have also been why he decided to make it something regarding the past. Well, I just realized the doctor, the father, to me, he resembles the Frankenstein doctor.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
and well, in the very beginning, that's pretty much the that scene is based on Frankenstein.
Exactly.
So, at the same time, yeah, there is some parallels, but also the time placing. I think that also matches that somewhat of that same era. Well, futuristic, but in the past, I don't know. It's very hard to explain. There's probably a word and I just don't know it. Um, but yeah, no, I agree. However, I actually take this movie as a very again, I just say coming of age. movie,
Yeah.
or a woman coming to age. That's simple, because that's actually what I admire the most. I do think the movie takes its time to fully develop the female character and go through the different choices and train of thought of an unfiltered woman,
That's
because it unrestricted by society. That 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 to me is the one of the most important things from the movie. You
yeah.
can clearly see the train of thought saying, well, but why do I have to do this? Why do I have to marry you? That this is not what I want.
Mhm.
I would have done differently. I don't care what you think.
And
And
something interesting, if we go further, I mean, certainly this character doesn't have the typical uh, paternal and maternal influence that any human being or the majority of human beings have. I mean, she rather grows up within, the care of this doctor, ironically called God, and sarcastically.
yeah,
And she observes this intellectual treatment of him, and the way he lives, the way he influences her to learn, to constantly learn. Okay. And he never stopped her when she decided to take this trip with this other guy
yeah.
who she met like 5 minutes ago.
I respected that. Because he was very objective as well. He was just like her in that sense, just purely objectivity. And he just said, okay, she wants to leave. She doesn't want to marry you. Let her go. Let her have her experiences. And he even not promoted it, but he was very paternal in the sense that, okay, here is some emergency money. I'll put it here.
Yeah.
You have a backup plan, but off you go. That's up to you. And it's very valid. I do
Yeah.
see it, and wow, the guy is crazy. He
Yes.
clearly lacks in many other aspects, but as a father, he actually did what was right. She's already a grown up. She needs to grow. She's choosing this path. Let
Let her go
her.
and have her own experiences,
Yeah.
That kind of behavior wouldn't have come from a mother, for example. I think mothers are usually more protective, more, they
Not even the
worry.
typical father, because fathers tend to be overprotective. So towards females, towards
Yeah,
females.
but parents, I mean, fathers are usually more detached. I mean, okay,
Yes,
this is
but
your decision. Perfect, go. I mean, I'll support you, but
not with
I'll let
females.
you go.
You know it. With females, they tend to be, you are a woman of your house. You're only leaving when you get
Yes and
married.
no,
The
honey.
norm was represented in the movie by the doctor's assistant. Remember how appalled he was when, oh, she's leaving? So actually, the expectation was shown. Both the
Yeah,
doctor and her were subverting it. But
yeah,
yeah, so you do have
yeah,
that contrast shown within the same movie. It's just that his voice, nobody landed. He was adorable. Don't get me wrong. Actually, he did a great job doing what he needed to do. He was lovable. You knew he was a
yeah,
reliable person, and even from the get go, the Emma's character, Bella, she knew he was the right choice. But
yeah.
also I appreciate, and this is something very I don't remember the name of this writer, this Victorian era writer. Yeah, she tends to explore this about these choices women have to face. Do I go by the right choice, or do I follow my heart and go with the wrong guy? And literally, she did. Jane Austen.
Jane.
That's it.
Okay, okay, okay,
Exactly.
okay.
So I've read a lot of her books, and there are a lot of movie adaptations of her books. So she does this a lot, where the female character. So this character actually reminded me a lot of those the characters she wrote about, because it was always the female expected to get married to the right guy, versus that's not what I want, that's not how I feel. How
Exactly.
do I get the chance to even express my thoughts and be heard? So this character fully represents that and says, you know what? This is not what I want, and I'm not doing it. And I'm speaking my mind. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it, but I will still say it. So that I'm not gonna say it's revolutionary, but I think the combination of all of the different elements make for an extremely pleasurable, palatable movie. Well, it also, I don't know if you're aware, but this is an adaptation of a book.
Poor things.
Yes, this is
Oh,
a book.
all
Yes.
right, all right.
So also bear that in mind. I don't know, but I haven't read the original book, but
Okay, okay.
regardless, I mean, just from this,
And does it
I mean,
go by the by the same name, Poor Things?
I think so. I think so.
Right,
But it is,
all
yeah,
right.
but it is an adaptation. I know that for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Know that and didn't read about it. I mean,
Mara Laura, nowadays, what I mean, it's up to us to find the relevant information in the world, because
yeah.
nobody talks about the good things in life anymore. Everybody talks about the news and whatever. No.
No, it's strange to me because I'm a very social media I'm a huge social media user, I'm always scrolling and watching and finding videos and posts and whatever, but I never saw anything like that, like that point about the movie.
Maria Laura, but we are trendsetters. We are the ones telling the world what to post about.
What's
So
supposed to be?
exactly. So people, be aware. Poor Things is based on a book.
On a book, yeah. You see, you learn something new every day. Not only you watch the movie, but you learn it's based on a book, you know? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well,
Yeah,
yes,
and I mean, it would be great if we had read it. We haven't, but we could also make the comparison. We cannot at this point.
definitely.
But again, a good thing coming from this would be read the book. If you are a very avid book reader, I strongly suggest
And
to go and get it.
if the book comes with that sarcastic key that was very well emphasized by the director, let me tell you, that's something. I mean, that's
Well,
him.
I mean, we have more homework. Remember, we're always here dishing homework. That's part of the homework.
Yeah, yeah, that's right,
Somebody
that's
read
right.
the book.
I'm gonna
Tell
do
us.
research. I'm gonna do my research on that.
Hmm. I mean,
Definitely.
I did research, but because I knew all of these small details, but and that's the autistic in me, just of course exploring beyond just the movie itself. But yeah, definitely. But
Getting
that's
too
the thing,
involved.
that this is what exactly makes this so beautiful.
Yes.
It's more than the sum of its parts. And its parts are very high quality.
Yeah.
So just getting this final product out and actually being successful. Well, I don't know about money. I don't really know if the investment. I think it was, but beyond that, it artistically speaking, it
Yes.
they yeah,
I can imagine it was a pretty expensive movies. I mean, the
it was his most expensive movie. Yeah,
quality
it was.
of special effects and CGI and all that technology, it's quite a lot of money. But
No,
apart
and
from
he
that,
did
as
talk
you said,
about
I
it.
mean, and not only that, the music actually and everything, everything we can think of,
Yeah, no, no, no. And he acknowledged it is his most expensive movie to date.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, it was just a whim. He just said, you know what, I this is the vision that I have. I have the money. I
Yeah,
want to execute on it. And I congratulate him for it because that's exactly what an artist does.
totally,
Did not
totally.
he
Yes.
did not uh he went all the way for it. You can tell just the cinematography, the stage, because clearly it's not locations. It's everything was either uh special effects, this I don't know, making a full stage just for the filming. It was
Mhm.
fantastic. It's a
Yes, yes.
fantasy.
And you might say, it was very visionary because if you see other movies, like for example, The Lobster from the same director, I mean, when you see The Lobster, you, I mean, the movie is good because of three things: direction, the script, and
And the
the
acting.
acting.
Mhm.
Exactly. But that was it. I mean, you don't need any more. Actually,
Exactly. No,
there
no
are
criticism.
only
No
two
criticism.
places, the house and the forest. That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no criticism to the director or the movie because
Mhm.
it didn't need it. That was not the focus. So, yeah,
Exactly.
bear in mind, that's no criticism. But with this, he clearly said, I want every aspect to take center stage at one point or the other.
Yes. So
Yes.
it demonstrates, even though you're the kind of director who has probably the same casts for movies, not all of the movies, but some of them, even though you have, you can be picky at some issues, I mean, you definitely demonstrated uh, the complexity behind your direction. I mean, you don't stay with only one aesthetic style,
Yeah.
Totally the opposite. It's like, wow, every movie has its own personality, its own color, its own texture, So,
We'll say, and this
wow.
comparison is no insult because, for instance, I had the name in my head and I forgot. The director of Edward Scissorhands, Tim Burton. Tim
Hmm.
Burton, he has a very particular style and he adapts it to pretty much everything he does. So you
Yeah.
can still trace it. But at the same time, this director, clearly his watermark is not so much the
That.
visuals, but
Mhm.
I think his directing his style. If you
Totally.
know a movie of his and then you start seeing something else, most likely you have these hints, the kind of music he uses,
Mm.
the direction he does. I don't know. It's just the style.
And
That's his
definitely,
watermark
I
for sure.
mean, if you watch a movie of Lanthimos,
Lanthimos.
um, I mean, you can certainly expect something weird, something strange,
Something
but
different.
you could never expect the same on all of his movies. I mean, all of them are pretty different, as we said before. They have his touch, but at the same time, his touch can be a variety of things. So,
Which is yeah,
wow.
that versatility is not common.
No,
So yeah,
that,
he's
that,
a genius.
that's right.
And I'm not referencing his first movie because I want to discuss it sometime. I love it. So I'm
All
not even
right,
referencing it
all
here.
right. It's a
I
deal.
became,
It's a
I
deal.
became yeah, I became his fan from his first movie. So I'm not going there because that deserves its own thing. That movie is also in my top five easily. So not even mentioning it. You do
All
your
right.
homework and find out about it. Thanks everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe, share. Again, this is a new endeavor, and we really appreciate you. Just make sure to watch the movie. Tell us what you thought of it. Read the book. And again, we appreciate all of your thoughts. Mara Laura, any last words?
What's the name of this show again?
Go movie talks.
This is Go Movie Talks. People, thank you so much for being here and for enjoying this show. Please remember, as Freddie said, like, subscribe, comment, and share. Okay? See you later, alligator. Bye bye, people.
Thanks for watching. Go Movie Talks.